Welcome back to the Party Franchise Podcast. I'm Ethan,
I'm Khalil.
and today on tap we got finals, like just talking about the NBA finals, and then some free agency slash postseason moves that teams can make in the NBA.
Yeah,
Khalil, do you want to start us off?
yeah. This was another delayed episode. When's the last time we even recorded? Like
Like,
we game 4, 5, and 6 hadn't happened the last time we recorded.
like last Thursday.
Yeah, so it's been a bit. So apologies about that, but we're both on summer break. This is the first episode where we're both on summer break.
On break, yeah.
So expect some more consistency out of us, and then trying to up the quality of the podcast too. So you'll see some new additions hopefully coming soon. But yeah, as you said, we got finals talk, we got some off-season talk. Draft is coming up. Maybe we do a mock draft in an episode from now or something like that. But yeah, we're officially in the off season for both sports. I mean, like we're in the off season for everything. Off season for school, off season for sports.
Yeah.
So we just chilling. But yeah, let's start with some finals talk. For those of you who don't know, and you should know if you're watching a sports podcast, the Warriors won the NBA Finals. It's their fourth chip in 8 years. They've been to 6 finals in 8 years, only won 4, 2 losses to Cleveland and Toronto. Steph has 4, Draymond has 4, Clay has 4, Iggy has 4. I think he was there for all of them. Wiggins gets his first, Jordan Poole gets 1, Kevon Looney gets 1 or 2. I think he might have been there for 1.
I think it's his third.
Kevon Looney has 3. I'll
think.
check, but yeah, go ahead and say what you want to say about the finals. I think Kevon Looney's.
Basically, it came down to which team was more consistent.
Oh yeah, he has 3.
Won the turnover battle. The Celtics pretty much every time they lost the turnover battle, and then their record with like 15 or less turnovers is like something to 1. I think it was like 10 to 1.
Right,
and
it was like it wasn't even 15; it was 16. If they're at 16 turnovers, they're not going to win the game typically. But if they stay below 16, they're good. And they could not limit turnovers. Part of that is Jason Tatum, who, if we're being real, he didn't play good this series.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, reckless play of driving into the basket, taking it against double teams. Like, I saw this meme. It was like, Jason Tatum, which decision would you make? There's Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson in the paint. Do you A, reset the offense? B, wait for someone else to come and pass to them? Right. Or C, drive into a Euro and then take it over 2 people, which is a bad shot?
Yeah, if we're being real, and this isn't even like a shot to Jason Tatum because he was good in every other series. He didn't play good in this series.
Not in this series.
I'm trying to think of all the games that I watched because I missed games 4 and 5. I watched every other game though. And in games 4 and 5, they lost.
He only had 1 good game
that I remember that I watched. He only had 1 good game.
He pretty much got outperformed by Andrew Wiggins. And
yeah,
I said,
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Even though Jaylen Brown wasn't even that great, he definitely got outplayed by Jaylen Brown. I feel like Jaylen Brown was very, very. He was good enough. He was really sloppy with the ball though, and he needs to improve on the tightness of his handles and just his ability to
decision making.
Yeah. Al Horford played solid. Robert Williams, I wish he was 100% healthy. He played really good.
He played his role.
Yeah, to be on 1 knee, a surgically repaired knee too. He played so good to be injured. So hopefully he can be healthy for the whole year next year, get some time to recover. I mean, Marcus Smart played all right, but yeah.
Like flopping from Marcus Smart is insane.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of flopping both ways.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to stop. He needs to stop. Game 6 specifically, it was all Warriors. I mean, the Celtics started off hot. And then it was once the Warriors went on that 21-0
run,
it was over. Once that happened, I knew it was over. And it was just
Draymond
like
hit 2 threes.
Yeah, he hit a mid-range pull-up. I was like, yeah, it's night, bro. Y'all aren't winning. It was just like a matter of the bench players on the Celtics didn't really show up, so you had to have Tatum and Brown.
Derek White after game 1 just disappeared.
Right. I mean, in game 2 he was okay, but he never had a game like game 1 again. Peyton Pritchard didn't really do anything. Grant Williams did absolutely nothing.
No one else on the team really showed up.
Right.
They
So
were all
they had to keep their starters in pretty much
yeah,
if they wanted to score, because like as soon as they took their starters out, it was just no one could do
it's just
anything.
going downhill.
And then Tatum wasn't even playing that good. So if you keep Tatum in, it's not like he's actually going crazy. He was playing okay. But like he didn't play exceptional. I'm gonna get the box score up, but it didn't feel like he played exceptional.
He averaged like 21 points per game, shot 35% from the field.
He's the
And
first player in NBA history to have 100 plus turnovers in a
postseason
playoff.
run.
Yeah. So he's definitely got to, got some things to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the box score specifically for game 6, Curry had his 34, Wiggins 18. I'm looking for the Celtics though. Jason Tatum in a elimination game had 13 points, 3 fouls, 5 turnovers, and he shot 33% from the field and 25% from 3, and it didn't take a single free throw. So
your best player got
definitely
13 points.
multiple times he's had under 20 points this series. So unfortunately, and I like Jason Tatum. I think he's a really good player. And it just sucks that unfortunately we know how like sports dialect goes. And now that he underperformed, it's going to be Jason Tatum's not that guy, even though in every other series he was that guy. He just didn't show up this specific series. He definitely needs to take accountability for it, but like,
like he was great the whole playoffs, and then come finals, he just fell apart.
Right. Didn't.
So there were talks about him being top 10,
right,
in the league, like currently. And after that finals run, it's like he's not top 10 anymore. But
right.
It was just one bad series. You can't hold that against him.
Right. A lot of people have bad.
He's only
series.
24. Yeah.
Right. He's only 24 still. I know that's like a joke that he's still like young.
He's
only 24.
But I think he's 24. Yeah. He's really young.
Yeah, he is. Oh, it doesn't even say. He's 24, and he's like comfortably 24. His birthday is in over 200 days. Yeah, so he definitely has some time to grow. I'm not really stressed. I mean, if you're 24 and you're a 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA, All-Rookie team, and then this is a new award, but an Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and you've appeared in the finals, clearly you're doing something right. That's superstar level stuff right there for someone of his age. It just sucks that, he's going to kind of get clowned on a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's because of like the Kobe thing. The whole like
I think that's a little bit much of what he's doing.
Yeah, it's a little corny on Jason Tatum's part. He was doing a little bit much.
It's cool to be someone's fan, but like to kind of mimic their picture.
Yeah.
As like your profile
picture. Like, he tries to you can even see he tries to play like Kobe a bit. Devin Booker kind of does that too, but he's actually good at it. I mean, not to say Tatum's bad at it, but he tries to do some stuff that's not very smart. And I don't want Jason Tatum to have his whole career try and be the next Kobe. Just be the first Jason Tatum, okay? That's all we need. Just do what you want to do. Do what works for you. Take your shots.
Do a hezzy sidestep and go. That's
right. Like, I'm really unimpressed with Jason Tatum's play. It sucks because I was rooting for dude. I'm always rooting for whoever hasn't won something before. So although I'm not like anti-Warriors or like anti-Celtics, I'm going to root for the Celtics because the Celtics haven't won in a bit compared to the Warriors who just won, So I was rooting for them, obviously. And he just didn't really perform. He went out really sorry. So it sucks for him, definitely. And when we're talking about like top young players in the league, I think this finals has confirmed that it's Luka though. Yeah. Like it's 100% Luka at this point. Because Luka would never put up 13 points in a game. I'm sorry. And even if he did put up 13 in a game, he wouldn't put up a sorry 13. He would probably have like 13, 8 rebounds, 7 assists.
Played the same Warriors team though. He
performed.
He performed.
So it's like it's a little bit of a disappointment.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the scheme, I guess, that they ran.
Or like I don't even think it could be the scheme, possibly. I don't know. Because it's like if you're the Celtics, you really have to worry about Brown and Tatum and a little bit of Horford. But like if you're talking about like scoring, it's Brown and Tatum. For the Mavericks, it's Luka and it's Jalen Brunson. Not to hate on Jalen Brunson, we're going to talk about him later in his free agency, but Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown are two very different calibers of player. Yeah. So when you're playing the Mavericks, you're a lot you're able to focus more on Luka, and Luka never put up a game that bad.
Mm-hmm.
So Luka's the best young player in the league, and
Yeah.
it's not really close. But onto the Warriors, because that's enough Celtics slander.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's a good season. Like
it's a good season.
they came back from like 500. Now they're in the finals, so can't really
Yeah.
complain. Golden State, as I said, the big three gets their fourth. Curry gets his first Finals MVP. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you didn't think
solidified Curry being at that table with Bird, Magic, Braun, Jordan.
And I've been hearing a lot about that, like Curry's top 10 now. If we're being real though, if we're not talking like career and we're talking about like how good you are, Curry was already top 10.
He was
Curry was already
Yeah.
top 10. Like there was already conversations about like if you're building an all-time dream team, you would want Curry on that team. Either as like the sixth,
have to have him there.
Right. And it's just like, and there's been a lot of discussions about Kobe versus Curry. They have very different careers, so it's really hard to compare. But Curry, not to say Kobe is the exact same player as Michael Jordan, but Kobe is very, very similar to Michael Jordan in a way where where Curry is like clearly his own guy, and no one in the top, no one ever played like him. So it's just different. But Curry is always
starting
been on that.
Play like him,
right?
Not Curry playing like someone else.
Exactly, 100%. But Curry gets his Finals MVP. There's officially nothing you can say about this man's career. He won without KD twice. He won with KD twice. Sure, he never got the Finals MVP. He has it now. This is by far the worst team that they've ever taken to the Finals.
He should have gotten it.
2015. There should be a second one. So
yeah.
There's nothing you can say about the man. He showed up in clutch moments. There's no argument as to if he was really the best player on his team. There's no argument to if Clay saved him. No, Curry won this chip. Yeah. Curry won the chip. Okay. Like
he was clearly the best player on the court every game.
Yeah. And not even just the best player on the Warriors, on the court, both sides.
Yeah.
He played good every game except for the game where he didn't hit a three. But other than not hitting a three,
when he didn't hit a three, he was good. He was like 9 for 13 from 2-point.
Right. It was just he couldn't make any threes. So he never had a bad game. Clay, good story for him. I mean, like coming back from 2 serious injuries and then you come back to win a chip is really impressive. So I'm happy for him. Unfortunately, he didn't, play the best, but he's going to get his feet under him, and hopefully next year he'll, be back to something close to Clay. Game 6 Clay was not here. There was a lot of hype for Game 6 Clay, and he had.
I'm gonna be real. Game 6 Clay does not exist. It's just average Clay.
Yeah, Game 6 Clay he's cool. I think the thing with Game 6 Clay, it's not an in general Game 6 Clay. It's like a post 2016 Game 6 Clay. So I mean, he has had good moments since then, but in general, Game 6 Clay is, Steph, Draymond actually played really good.
Hey, I got a question. So if Curry didn't win Finals MVP, who would you have winning it?
It would have had to be Wiggins. It would have had to be Wiggins. There would have been no one else to win it. It definitely wasn't Draymond because he was always fouling out his stats aren't good enough. And then Clay didn't play good. So, and then after Wiggins,
up their best player.
After Wiggins, it might be like Kevon Looney because it's not Draymond or Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Curry was by far better than Wiggins. But Wiggins was also really good. He gets to win his first. I think and even in the last game, he had 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks, 18 points.
Yeah.
He did everything.
Wild.
43 minutes played. He played the most minutes out of anyone just because he was able to do a little bit of everything. He did the dirty work, and I think he finally found his
role
place in the NBA, right? Like he's not someone who you want to have as your number one, but he can for sure be a really good third or second option. And he showed that because he's willing to hustle, play defense. He's definitely one of the best two-way players in the league at this point. So I'm just really impressed with Wiggins, and you can't call him a bust anymore. I think if you're the second best player on a championship winning team, you're not a bust. So, I mean, you would expect like more from a number 1 overall pick, but if we're being real, looking back at every number 1 overall pick, not too many are
pan out. as that guy.
Right. A lot of them end up good, but not everyone can be LeBron. So Draymond had an actual good game in game 6, like a very good game, 12 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
Yeah.
He was just everywhere on the court. Efficient, 50% from the field, 40% from 3. Hey, can't be mad at it.
He's a triple-double getter.
Yeah, but that's it for the NBA season now. It's over. We started the year off thinking the finals would be Lakers, Nets, and we got Warriors, Celtics. And the Lakers didn't even make the final or the playoffs. So yeah, overall, successful season. Good season.
If you were to rate it out of 10, what would you rate the season?
I think I would say a 7.5. I think if we would have got some more like long playoff series, I would have put it at maybe an 8. And yeah, and for me to give you like a 9 out of 10, you got to have like an elite.
I would have liked to seen like some game winners.
Yeah, game 7s, game winners, and playoffs would have been.
Yeah,
but regular season, it was a good regular season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Health and safety protocols did kind of put a damper on everything for a little bit, but after the first like 2 or so, 3 months,
health and safety protocols hurt the Clippers.
Yeah, it was over for them. They had no Paul George, so it was just But overall, I would say a pretty great season, regular season wise.
Yeah,
a lot of exciting players we got to watch, but now we gotta wait. I mean, unless you plan on watching Summer League, which I do because I have some investment in the Summer League. No meaningful basketball for 4 months, so heartbroken. Yeah, that's wraps for the 2021-2022 NBA season. We have the Warriors winning the finals.
Another championship.
Dynasty.
They're like 4th, right?
4th in what? Rings all
total
time?
Chips? Yeah.
I know the Bulls have 6. The Lakers and the Celtics both have 16. I don't know. They might be NBA. Oh no, the Spurs have more than the Warriors. I'll check right now. NBA teams with the most rings. Yeah, so it's no, the Warriors are at 7.
Oh wow.
From 47, 56, 75, and then the 4 they just won. So with Wilt and them. Yeah, so they're top 4. They're 3rd actually. They have officially passed Jordan's Bulls.
Wow.
Except it's different because Jordan's Bulls.
Jordan won all of them.
Yeah, all of those were in the 90s.
Yeah.
The Warriors won 4 in the 2010s, and then they have 3 from before the 80s. But can't be mad at it. Successful. Yeah, that's crazy to think about. They're like on the Mount Rushmore of NBA.
Greatness.
Right. For a long time, it was Warriors, Celtics, Bulls, Spurs, and now it's Warriors, Celtics, Bulls, Warriors. That's wild. But yeah, we are witnessing greatness. Can't even lie about that. Curry's that guy. Can't say nothing about it. Great career. I don't know how many more years he's gonna give us, but can't wait to see all of them. Yeah. I think that's all I really have to say about the finals.
That's all I got to say about the finals.
Congrats. I do kind of want to read this article while on the pod. 5 incredible stats from Steph Curry's Finals MVP. He is the first player to average 35-5 and 5 made 3-pointers in the finals.
ESPN. I'm kidding.
It's actually NBA. Let's see. Curry led all players in scoring with 187 total points over the 6-game series, as he accounted for 29.7% of Golden State's 629 points. Jaylen Brown had 23% of Boston's total points.
Oh.
Let's see. What else? Top 3-point shooting finals display. Curry's hitting the most threes in a 6-game series. Guess who's second in that?
Braun?
Curry. And guess who's third?
Curry?
Clay.
Oh.
The Splash Brothers are real. But he had 31 threes. And let's see. Dominant off screens and switches. Marcus Smart defended Curry for 27 minutes and 50 seconds. Smart held Curry to 25 points on 35% shooting and 25 from three. And he had 6 turnovers and 6 assists. But when Curry was on, anyone else, when he was on Derek White specifically, he made 9 threes and 15 shots.
Oh my God.
Actually, he made 9 of his threes against Al Horford. 15 shots against Al Horford, not Derek White.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No, because Al was getting cooked.
Yeah. They did not. They just left him out there to dry. Like they were just like, yeah, you go guard him.
You got him.
What about Jaylen Brown? Jaylen Brown. I mean, when Jaylen Brown was guarding him, he only made 4 shots and didn't make a single three. But it was in 7 minutes. Tatum, in 13 minutes, he scored 26 points, 6 assists.
In how many minutes?
In 13.
13 minutes.
9 shots and he hit 5 threes in 26 minutes of Tatum guarding him. Wow. Yeah. I mean, Marcus Smart played good defense. I don't want to hear nothing about the D-port not doing his job. Clearly, he did something. The only player who allowed less points the only 3 players who allowed less points on Curry are Robert Williams, Grant Williams, and Jaylen Brown. And they actually didn't play like good. He's the only person who allowed less points than he guarded him for minutes. So for Jaylen Brown, he allowed 11 points in 7 minutes. Robert Williams allowed 23 points in 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Grant Williams allowed 16 points in 3 minutes. Jaylen Brown, 11 points in 7 minutes. I think I already said that, but yeah. He allowed 25 points in 27 minutes. So Defensive Player of the Year definitely did show up. Yeah, but now we are officially moving on to, what happens after the finals. It's the off season. This is going to be a really interesting off season because there's not a lot of teams with cap space, and there's also it's not a great free agent class. So I don't see this being like any crazy Kawhi going to the Clippers, LeBron going to the Lakers, AD going to the Lakers, that kind of free agency. But it could be interesting. It could definitely be interesting depending on how things play out. So we're going to talk about the 8, I think it's 8 or 9 biggest potential, off-season movers. You got a couple people who could be traded. I mean, technically all of these people could be traded in like sign-in trades. But there's a couple people who are like on a roster and not free agents. Then there's some free agents, restricted and unrestricted. So first guy we have up, Zach LaVine. He's 27. He's coming off a season where he averaged 24.4 points per game, 4.6 rebounds per game, 4.5 assists on 47% shooting from the field, 38.9 from the three-point line, and 85 from the free throw line. He wasn't too healthy. He was dealing with like ankle and knee injuries a good amount of the season. Bulls finishes the 6th seed. They lose to the Bucks. So where do you think a good fit for Zach LaVine would be going into next season?
Other than him staying?
Yeah, because I definitely have him staying as one of his top 4 options.
So other than him staying, I could see Portland.
I like Portland. I have Portland listed here.
What else? I don't the Knicks, but I don't like the direction where they're going.
That's what I was saying. See, that like I was writing my notes for this, and every single free agent was like, the Knicks should go after this guy. And I'm like, why? I don't get it. I don't see the point of the Knicks signing some, big name guy if they're not in a position to win.
To win. Like their roster points one direction, but they can make moves.
Right.
To set themselves up. I don't know.
Let's focus on the Blazers because I have them listed as one of my 4 teams. For the Blazers, it's just kind of like they're trying to help Dame.
Dame, period.
And Dame and Zach LaVine is one of the top 3 or 4 free agents, I would say, this year. He's a lot bigger than CJ McCollum is, so they would have more size in the backcourt. And he's another like all-star level scorer. He's not an amazing defender, but again, he's bigger, so it'll probably help.
He'll be like a CJ replacement.
Yeah, a bigger CJ, essentially. I mean, it's not a lot for the Blazers to do because even if they were to get Zach LaVine, I don't think they're better than most of the teams in the West.
It still wouldn't solve their big man issue.
Right.
or their
Uh,
everything else issue.
yeah. So Portland is really good, a really good option for Zach LaVine.
Mhm.
The Bulls, of course, you know, they
The
showed they're
Bulls.
trying to build around him. They got, Vucevic and
Oh.
DeMar. They just weren't, and Lonzo. They just weren't
Mhm.
healthy. At one point, they were the 1 seed. So, I think it came out that this was very likely that he would resign. He resigns. Everyone gets healthy, gets a running back next year, and see
He's
where it's
getting
at.
that max.
Right. Oh, they got to give him the max.
Yeah.
Yeah, just run it back next year and see what get out of a healthy season for the Bulls. I'm not
Mhm.
mad at it. I have two more options. I want to see if you have an option that I don't, but I have two more teams that I had in mind.
Honestly, the net. I'm kidding.
Now, if they
um,
trade Ben Simmons,
but for real, I don't know. How's the Sixers cap looking like?
Sixers could technically do it, but they would have to do a sign and trade, and they would have to trade Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey. They would have to, and they already don't have a bench, so they would have to trade the
Mhm.
whole roster to have Embiid,
Another.
Harden, and Zach LaVine, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what I was thinking was they just don't re-sign Harden, and then they replace Harden with Zach LaVine.
Yeah, I
But
think
then,
I would rather have Zach LaVine than Harden, but I don't think they can do
yeah,
that.
I
It would
don't think
make
they
the
can do
Sixers
that.
organization look really bad.
Yeah.
Also, they don't have a choice. Harden doesn't have a player option.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess they
That's all I
technically
gotta say
could
though.
not resign him. I had
Yeah.
two more teams. I had I had San Antonio.
Oh.
You get to play next to DeJounte. He's definitely still the guy on his team for sure.
Hmm.
He gets to be the lead scorer. And then I'm a big fan of this. Young players getting to play for Popovich is going to do a good amount for your career because he's going to hold you accountable on the defensive side of the ball. Zach LaVine's not a garbage defender, but you could always improve on that side of the ball. And the league is moving to more of a
Perimeter centric.
yeah, and like you want your best player to be able to be the best player on defense as well. Tatum stepped up defensively. Jaylen Brown stepped up defensively. Andrew Wiggins is a very good two-way player. Kawhi, Jimmy Butler, Giannis, Embiid in some cases can be a very good two-way player. So we're moving to more of like you want guys who can play defense and get
Jokic
buckets.
improved on defense.
Yeah, Jokic definitely got better on defense. It's just more people are valuing that side of the ball more. So teaming up DeJounte, who's already a great defender, with Zach LaVine, getting him in Pop's system, having him improve as a defender with all the young people they already have: Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Jakob Poeltl, and then they have the 9th or 10th pick. They have a high pick, so that could be a nice little young core. And then I also had Atlanta, help Trae Young. And then I think this is the best option. Like if the Bulls realize that, Zach is going to leave, if they can do a sign and trade with the Hawks and do maybe like Zach LaVine for John Collins and a couple picks, that's better than just letting him walk. So that's probably the
Mhm.
best situation for the Bulls. And then for the Hawks is literally just help Trae Young because we saw how he can struggle if he's just being focused
If he
on
doesn't
against like
have
the
that
Heat.
help.
Right. But yeah, I think those are the four best teams. I say we rank the four teams.
Okay.
So we got the Blazers, the Spurs, the Bulls, and the Hawks. Which would you say is his worst option as far as like his own
His worst
success?
option is probably the Blazers.
You think so?
I think it's the Blazers because if he wants to win accolades, he's not gonna win them in Portland.
He's not going to win accolades in Portland. I just also don't
He's
think he's
going to.
going to win
I don't think he's
anything
gonna
in
win them in.
Portland.
Yeah. I also don't like San Antonio as accolades,
Hmm.
but if it's gonna take time for both teams, of course.
Hmm.
They're gonna have to get those assets because it's not gonna be immediate.
Yeah,
He's
if he
gonna get
wants
added to the
to,
team, and then like a year or two later, they might develop into a playoff team.
right? If he wants to immediately win, his best bet is staying with the Bulls, going
Oh
to the Hawks,
yeah.
or I mean, I still think Zach LaVine and Dame make the playoffs. I just don't think they
Yeah.
win anything in
They're
the
not gonna
playoffs.
make far.
Uh, I guess with the Spurs, that's more of a question if you have DeJounte and Zach LaVine, if they are really a playoff team like that. I still think they are
I
because I
think they
think
are.
they're better than some of the worst teams in the West. It's still a
Yeah.
question though. You got like who knows what the Lakers are next year. You got the Pelicans, the Kings maybe. So it's hard to say in the bottom of the West, but I think Atlanta. I think it would go Portland at the bottom, or It depends on what you want, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so San Antonio at the bottom, although I think for his personal development, I think that'd be the best one.
Mhm.
So San Antonio at the bottom, we'll say Portland second bottom, or Portland third, Atlanta second, Chicago one.
1.
It alternates
Yeah.
between Atlanta and Chicago for me.
Mhm.
Definitely though. But it's definitely he has some options. It's just not a year where, a lot of teams have cap space.
Mhm.
So it's hard to say where he'll, or no one really has that many options. So a lot of these teams are gonna have like duplicate options if you're like a similar type of player. And if
Yeah.
we're talking about a similar type of player, just a different situation but similar archetype, James Harden is technically able to become a free agent this year. He's
Mhm.
33, coming off a year where he averaged 22 points, 7.7 rebounds, 10.3 assists, 41% from the field, 33 from the three-point line, 87% from the free throw line. He's 33, so definitely this is probably like the
Age consideration.
last big deal he's gonna get, like long-term big deal, and I don't think he's even gonna get a long-term deal, maybe 2 years, 3 years max. But he doesn't have options really, because he said when he was leaving Houston, he said he either wanted to go to Brooklyn, Philly, or Miami. He went to Brooklyn and it didn't work, so he's not going back to Brooklyn. He's
Mhm.
in Philly now, so that's one of his options. And then his only other option is Miami.
I
So
don't think he wants to go to. I don't think Miami would want him.
yeah, that's what I was saying. When I was like writing, I was like, James Harden doesn't fit the Miami scheme. He doesn't
Yeah.
buy in defensively. He doesn't show effort and hustle off the ball. Plus, I mean, I'm sure James Harden would love to play in Miami, extracurricular activities. Um, but I don't think he fits the Miami
I don't think he fits that
scheme or
scheme and what
culture.
their beliefs are,
Right. He's
because
not that guy
everyone
for
buys into
that.
the system of being two-way players.
Right.
Harden just doesn't buy into that.
It's not a
And
two-way player.
besides, he's lost a step. We've
He
seen it in the
definitely
playoffs.
has.
It's probably recency bias, but he's lost a step.
Oh, it's not even recency bias. This guy was averaging 27 plus points for like 5 years straight. He averaged 36 for a season, and now he's averaging 22. I mean, he's averaging 7 rebounds and 10 assists, which are still good numbers. He's pretty much a triple double if you add a couple of rebounds. But like, definitely not the same James Harden we saw a couple years ago.
A couple years ago, yeah.
Hamstring injuries, groin injuries. He's a lot more injury prone now. He's definitely lost a lot of what he was before. Not to say he's a bad player, but for him, because there's only 2 options, I think we can agree that Philly is the best option.
Yeah.
For both sides. If
it's not
he
even
moved,
close.
if he left Philly after trying to get out of Brooklyn to go to Philly, I would lose so much respect for James Harden.
Yeah,
because when he was in Houston, they gave him everything they could possibly to build a good team. They got him Chris Paul, Dwight Howard,
they gave him what he
Russ.
wanted.
Then that wasn't good enough to win, so he goes to Brooklyn, which is fine. It wasn't good enough where he was at, so that's fine enough.
He went to a better situation.
He goes to Brooklyn. He's with KD and Kyrie, and they still don't do anything, right? Due to injuries, of course, that's part of it. But so then he's like, okay, this isn't working for me either. So then he goes to Philly, gets to team up with an MVP caliber player, and again, doesn't work out. So if he were to up and bail, at that point, he's just ring chasing.
Like what Kyle Lowry said.
Yeah, at that
Did you
point,
see what he said, bro?
I didn't hear it. What did he say?
Oh, he's like, no. So someone asked. It was after the Heat got eliminated. Someone asked Kyle Lowry if this was a successful season. He was like,
he said,
no,
like,
I just want to win a chip.
Right. He was like,
yeah,
if you're not playing for a championship, then I don't think it's a successful season. It's a bit of a wasted season. I mean, I guess so. Like, only 2 people can make the championship, so a lot of people wasted their season. But I get what he means. But definitely, Philly is the number 1 option, and it's not really close. They just traded to get him.
Has to stay.
Yeah, if he left, would anyone even sign him then? Because it's like this guy has gone to so many good situations, and we don't know if he's gonna want to stay if things don't work out immediately.
He's like an Antonio Brown,
right? Or like a Kyrie Irving, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
So it's like if he leaves Philly, he kind of screws himself over. So he pretty much has to stay. So hopefully he can get back healthy and looking like a little bit better. He doesn't have to go back to averaging 50 points a game, but like at least showing a little more hustle and effort and urgency.
More athletic, I guess.
Yeah. Getting back in shape though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now number 3, 23-year-old first restricted free agent we brought up, DeAndre Ayton, Phoenix Suns center. 17 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 1 assist a game, 0.7 blocks per game on 60% shooting, 36 from 3 and 74 from the free throw line.
A restricted free agent means that the Suns can match any.
Yeah, the Suns can match any option he gets.
Okay.
So whatever anyone else offers him, they can match it regardless of if it works for the cap space or not.
Okay.
So essentially, just to give some context to DeAndre Ayton, you know, the Suns don't want to give him the max. He feels as if he deserves the max, and he also feels neglected, and he feels like Phoenix is not letting him showcase all of his talents. Let's not forget that, you know, DeAndre Ayton was a number 1 overall pick. So when you go into the league as a number 1 overall pick, you're not expected to be a third option who just, you know, sets screens and catches lobs. And, you know, just gets rebounds, things like that. He wants to go to a situation where he'll be more
used or utilized.
Yeah, that guy, you know, looked at as that guy, valued, respected. So to me,
he wants to raise his value.
Right. So I only had one team.
I wouldn't let that happen to me though.
Personally, I would just take the ball from Devin Booker.
I would just display my talents in front of everyone. It doesn't matter if the coach
the coach takes me out. What? This is 2K my career.
I'm staying in.
I'm taking everything. But the only 2 teams I really had are Detroit and Phoenix. The best situation for him if he wants to win is going to Phoenix or staying in Phoenix. You know, he gets to grow with Book and Bridges like for the future, and then he still has Chris Paul at least for this year. He's definitely in a position to win. So that's probably the best situation as far as winning, his personal like success and things like that. But if he wants to accomplish what he says he wants to accomplish and, you know, get paid, be valued as that guy, I say Detroit, because we know Cade Cunningham is an elite playmaker for someone of his age. You know, they just need to improve a little bit in the front court. They're trying to shop Jeremy Grant. They've been trying to shop Jeremy Grant for a bit. Give Cade a elite, I don't know about elite, but a really good all-star level center. You know, some solid young players around him. And let's not forget they have the number 5 pick. And if they were to get DeAndre Ayton, I think that locks up the fact that they would be taking a guard, maybe Jaden Ivey, maybe Shaedon Sharpe. You know, so you got Cade, Ivey or Sharpe, Saddiq Bey, Jeremy Grant if he were to stay, and then DeAndre Ayton. That's a very fun team to watch. A very, very fun team to watch. And the Pistons they just have a lot of cap space. And DeAndre Ayton is again 23. He's on their timeline, so I think it makes a lot of sense.
So I think him staying, of course, would benefit his personal, or not his personal, but if he wants to win,
right,
then he would just stay there.
And let's say win now, because the Pistons could win later on.
Yeah. Okay. If he wants to showcase his skill, I guess, then I think the Spurs might be a good place for him to go.
Spurs are also.
You mentioned this earlier, like the overlapping of teams, what they need, and I'm sure they have the money to do it.
Oh, they do. But Spurs don't have any long contract.
Detroit, they can also do it too. But I would like to see Detroit, but he's not going to be able to showcase his skill there. He's probably going to split minutes with Nurkic, and there's no point in them signing.
Nurkic isn't in.
Oh, he isn't.
Oh, you said Detroit. You mean Portland?
Portland. Oh, yeah, Portland.
Yeah.
My fault.
If they signed DeAndre Ayton, though, I'm pretty sure Nurkic would be gone. They'd probably not keep Nurkic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean. I like Portland too, I guess, but it's already came out that someone said that DeAndre Ayton going to Portland wasn't realistic. I don't know if that was his camp or the Portland front office, but Dame also said that he would be happy if the Blazers went after Ayton. So
Ayton, yeah. I mean, of course, it makes sense because it's a top 8 center in the league.
Right. So I don't get what they mean. It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
It makes a good amount of sense to me. They need a center, and a top 8 center is available, and they're just like,
there's only a list of how many centers you're taking over Ayton.
Right. He's like, there's only 2 really good centers available, and it depends on how you view the other guy. It would be Rudy Gobert. You know, you might view Ayton as better than Gobert or Gobert better than Ayton, but they're the only 2 really good centers available. You're not getting Cat, not getting Bam, definitely not getting Joel or Jokic. Giannis, I guess you could call a center
Giannis
or a
is a
power
lock.
forward. You're not getting him. I'm trying to think of other guys.
Nobody wants AD.
No one's gonna trade for AD. Can't get him. So yeah, the best guy available is Ayton after that.
Mhm.
So it's, I mean, Clint Capella, and then you're just kind of like,
Everyone else is like,
and Clint Capella isn't really even available. He's on the Hawks, I think, to
Yeah.
stay. So
the drop
but-
off after that's just not insane, but it's just
it's
it's
not
major.
it's not an all-star level player after
Yeah.
that point. Clint Capella is not even an all-star level player. So after DeAndre Ayton, you're definitely not getting an all-star.
Mhm.
But yeah, DeAndre Ayton's only 23. So
Yeah.
wherever he goes, he's going to be there for a bit. You know, he's like a long-term kind of thing. That's why I like Detroit, because Cade's like a rookie, second year next year. He gets to go with DeAndre Ayton, who's still young, and they can grow together and build something for the future without sacrificing, you know, their present. They don't have to trade any picks
Yeah.
because they could just offer him what he wants. And even if the Suns match it, he doesn't have to sign with the Suns.
Mhm.
He could still be like, hey, I'm going to Detroit. So,
Yeah.
hey, so, I mean, I like Detroit. I think it'd make the Pistons very, very fun to watch. But again, for his like personal success, Phoenix by far.
Yeah.
Maybe Portland if he wants to win now. I think at least he'll make the playoffs for sure with Portland.
I
And
think
even
he's
then,
gonna make the playoffs for sure with the Suns too, though.
oh
because-
no, for sure he would make the Suns
Yeah.
for sure, the playoffs for sure with the Suns. But even Portland, he would probably be like a lower seed, I guess.
Yeah.
Detroit makes a lot of sense to me.
Mhm.
Okay, next up we have another guard, another interesting situation. I have one
Guard.
specific team fit for this guy who I can't wait to bring up because it's a bit of a sleeper. We got Kyrie.
Mm.
Again, Kyrie technically can be a free agent this year. He didn't play very much last year. I think he played under 40 games. He averaged 27.4 points per game, 4 rebounds a game, 6 assists a game. Very good numbers. He just didn't play a lot due to COVID and, you
Mhm.
know, personal things. Shot on 47% field goal, 47% from the field, 41 from 3, and 90% from the line. Very efficient too. I think there's really only, I mean, I've heard Clippers too for Kyrie, and I wasn't really a fan of it because the Clippers would have to trade a bit to get him. It would have to be a sign and trade, and I'm not sure if it's not even they would have to trade a bit. The Nets wouldn't get back anything that's worth Kyrie Irving
Yeah.
to me. But 3 teams, you know, we got, first off, it's Miami. For all of the scoring guards, the Bradley Beals, the Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie Irving.
Any offensive initiator should
Yeah.
go to Miami.
Yeah, Miami needs that guy. For Brooklyn, you're thinking sign Kyrie. He says he wants to go to Miami. Trade Kyrie for Tyler
I'm
Hero
sure they'd have to give up
and
Tyler
Kyle
Hero.
Lowry. They would have to
Yeah.
be those two. I was messing around with the ESPN trade thing, and the only way it would make sense is if trading Kyle or Tyler Hero, who's still in his rookie deal. So they would have to lump in a big contract, and the only big contracts they have are Lowry, Bam, and Jimmy, and they're not trading Jimmy or Bam. So it'd be Lowry, Hero, probably their pick, and you know, yeah, and for Kyrie. And the thought process for the Heat is, you know, we got that scoring guard who could team up with, you know, Jimmy Butler and Bam.
Jimmy. Mhm.
And of course, he's not the most defensive player in the world, but he's shown that he can buy into the defensive system at times if he's really motivated. But again, he's not a defender, and that's not what you're getting him to do.
You're getting him to just get buckets. Which
Of
is
course,
the whole purpose.
another option for him is the Nets. It's pretty much
Yeah,
just
just
the
stay.
run it back again process, but like at some point you got to be like, this isn't working. Like he got the
Mhm.
first year and KD wasn't healthy. Then they got the second year, and then KD was healthy and he was healthy, but then they trade for Harden, but then come the playoff time, they're not healthy. Then they have this season where they have all 3, and it's not working out, and they're the 7th seed and they get swept. It's
Mhm.
year 4. You kind of got to think about like, is this really going to work out? They traded for Ben Simmons. He didn't even play, but you got to hope that maybe next year Ben's back. KD's fully healthy. You're fully healthy. They have a solid bench, I guess, with Seth Curry and Drummond and things like that, and see if this time it works out. But I think this is the best situation for both sides. And you tell me how you feel about this. I think the Nuggets and Kyrie would be very interesting.
That would be.
And it
I don't
would
know.
have to be a sign and trade. But here's my thought process.
Who would the Nuggets be giving up? They would have to give up Jamal.
It would have to be Jamal. But here's what I'm saying. So you got Jokic, who's pretty much in his prime, back-to-back MVP.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
your prime. At some point, you got to be like, okay, I know we're trying to build this thing for the future, but you kind of want to win with your guy in his prime now.
Yeah, you want to use
So,
that prime.
Jamal Murray, who's on a big deal, but injured, kind of got to see what you get from him next year. Trade him. You got to trade picks most likely. So Jamal Murray, some picks. Might have to throw in Bones Highland, who knows, for Kyrie, and then you get Kyrie, MPJ, and Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, some guys. That's a pretty nice duo. Team Jokic up with an all NBA level player.
My thought process of that is, sure, we give up Jamal and picks and Bones, but we have like the slowest bench in the league.
Yeah, y'all definitely need to improve your bench. So you guys couldn't really afford to trade Bones or that's the only issue
Bones
with
or
it.
Picks. That I see what you're saying, like with getting Jokic that next level piece, because Jamal's gonna be coming back from injury. He might lose a step or so, and but I don't know. Like, I can see it, but it would almost be like not a setback, but just
a lateral move.
Yeah,
you guys would get Kyrie.
It's just a big name, just not.
I mean, let's not
going to benefit us.
Kyrie is better than Jamal Murray, even when Jamal is healthy.
For sure.
And then I think there's a way that people see you have Kyrie and Jokic and MPJ, and they're like, I'm getting old. I mean, not even super old, but I would kind of want to go play for y'all because I have a chance to win here. But it's hard to say. Because Denver isn't a big market.
It might just be a Lakers, like how they just attracted so many older players,
right?
With Braun.
Yeah, but again, that's also LA too. You have to take into account that it's LA versus Denver, so
it's the Mile High City,
right? I just think that would be an interesting little duo. But
that's interesting for sure.
Out of these three, how would you rank them though? We got the Nets, the Nuggets, and the Heat.
Nuggets is least likely.
Least likely, but if all of these were to happen, how do you think it would play out for Kyrie specifically? Where would he be most successful? Where would he be least successful?
Probably going to be the least in. Oh shoot!
Is that the Jamal jersey hanging up?
Yeah. He's probably gonna be the least successful in Denver. Middle would be. I don't know. It's interchangeable between the Nets and the Heat because you can go both ways.
Successful with the Heat.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be most successful with the Heat though, because you have to keep in mind Ben Simmons on the Nets.
We don't even know.
They also may be missing pieces, so yeah.
Right. I would feel bad for
KD.
Right. I would feel so bad for KD if Harden and Kyrie left, because he goes to Brooklyn and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to play with Kyrie, and then they get Harden, so he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to play with KD or Kyrie and Harden, and then they both leave.
Yeah.
In there in Brooklyn. At that point, they would have to trade KD. There'd be no way he would stay.
Bro's demanding a trade immediately.
Right. There's nothing it becomes Ben Simmons' team at that point. So yeah, I like all of these options. Denver. This is the only person that I have Denver, listed for. But same thing applies for Bradley Beal. If you want to do it if you want to just straight up sign him. I also don't know what the Nuggets cap situation is like, because you guys are gonna pay Jokic and MPJ is on a big deal.
Paying Jokic
and Jamal is on a big deal.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if you guys have the cap space to just sign someone. It would have to be a sign and trade. Okay. Speaking of trade, this is the first person who would technically have to be traded. We got Rudy Gobert, 30 overall or 30
overall.
30 years old, 15.6 points per game, 14.7 rebounds, assist, 2 blocks, shot 71% from the field, 69 from the free throw line. I only have 2 fits from, but where do you see, Rudy saying? I mean, Utah is obviously an option.
I would have liked to say Dallas,
but they just
already got Christian Wood.
That's I had hit the Mavericks here as an honorable mention. I wrote they could use a center, but they literally just traded for Christian.
They just traded for him, so there's no point in them trading.
I have 2 teams, only 2 teams, and I think one makes a lot of sense. I think Chicago, Rudy Gobert to Chicago makes so much sense for both sides. So here's how it would play out, right? You know, Zach LaVine.
Oh yeah, that totally makes sense now.
Zach LaVine is on the verge of leaving. You know, he's like, I don't know if I can win in Chicago. The Bulls organization has to show Zach LaVine, hey, I know we were in the playoffs, but we're not happy with just being in the playoffs. We want to win a championship, right? And you got to look at your roster and be like, okay, how do we need to improve to win a championship? Obviously, first thing is injuries, right? Second thing they need to improve on, out of all the playoff teams, all teams that actually made the playoffs not playing, the Bulls had the second worst regular season defensive rating in the league. Not in the league, but amongst playoff teams. They were 23rd in the NBA, second worst out of playoff teams. The only team worse than them was I can't even remember off the top of my head. I think it was either the Hawks or, I think it was the Hawks, but I'm not sure. So essentially, what the Bulls do is they see, we need to improve our defense if we want to win a championship. They also show Zach LaVine, like, we're going to keep improving to make a championship team around you, right?
So let me offer you something. We signed a D point on our team. This name being Rudy Gobert. Therefore, trading Yusuf
Nick Vucevic.
Yeah,
they'd have to shoot. I was messing around with the trades for this, and the trade would probably be Vucevic, who's just a competent big, solid, I guess. Then you get Patrick Williams, who's a young guy who has some defensive potential, 3-and-D potential at the 4, and then they would trade the number 18 pick to the Jazz.
Okay.
For Rudy Gobert.
Them trading away Nurkic.
Vucevic.
Them trading away Vucevic also allows Donovan Mitchell. Let's just jump over to Donovan Mitchell since we're at it too. Since they're both about this. Donovan wants to score the ball.
Right.
Gobert, he wants the ball.
Right.
Donovan, he can score the ball. Vucevic, he doesn't want the ball.
Vucevic doesn't need the ball. Happy. Like Vucevic is a lot.
Happy.
Right. That gives Donovan Mitchell a lot more, I guess, freedom to play how he wants to play. They would be worse though, because Vucevic isn't the defender that
he isn't nearly as good as the defender.
Yeah. Patrick Williams, you know, he's a young guy who they could develop to be a solid defender for him. Then at 18, I don't know who would fall there. Let's just say they get, you know, Bryce McGowan or something, or what's his name? Tari Eason. That's, I guess, who they could pick. Who knows? Jaden Hardy. But again, you know, Bulls are showing Zach LaVine, hey, we want to win with you. We're going to get this really good defender to help our defense out. So hopefully next year we can be up there with the Heat, the Bucks, the Celtics. The only gripe I have with this, and it's for the Bulls, it's not for the Jazz. DeMar DeRozan and Rudy Gobert on the court at the same time, spacing wise, would not be very good.
Unless if DeMar has that crazy shooting spree again.
Yeah. And that's such a chance that I'm not sure I'd be willing to take, because DeMar isn't really a positive 3-point shooter, and Rudy Gobert is definitely not a 3-point shooter or a scorer or an offensive player.
Or a ball handler.
Or anything really, a playmaker, you know, anything. But that's just a little bit of something you gotta find a way.
Keep in mind.
Yeah, you gotta find a way or keep in mind. Billy Donovan is a great coach. You know, he was with the Thunder for a long time. I feel like he would be able to find a way to make it work.
I'm sure they do a lot of misdirection with screens.
Yeah, maybe find a
way to
force
that mismatch and get Gobert a guard.
Yeah, or
if they do that, then it all works out.
Stagger DeRozan and Gobert's minutes so they play as few minutes on the court together as possible. Have them start together, but don't have them play too much together. You know, maybe have like Gobert and Zach LaVine play a bunch of minutes together, or LaVine or Gobert and, like, you know, Gobert and anyone who's not DeRozan, because I think anyone else can shoot. Just try and minimize their minutes so it doesn't close up the court. The other team I had, and this is another interesting option, if I was the Bulls or if I was the Jazz and I got offered the Bulls trade and the second team's trade, I would definitely take the Bulls though. This is just an interesting hypothetical big three. So we got the Clippers, Los Angeles Clippers, right? It would have to be a trade again. The Clippers don't have any picks to trade though. That's the thing where I'm like, I'm taking the Bulls trade.
Yeah.
Because all of the Clippers picks are with Oklahoma City, of course. So they have no picks to trade. But the Jazz would receive like Markieff Morris, Zubac, and like Reggie Jackson, like 3 really good role players for the Utah Jazz to take, I guess. And the Clippers would get probably the best defensive big three and by far the best defensive big three in the league
Mm-hmm.
with Kawhi,
Yeah,
Paul George, and Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
That would
Has
be
Kawhi won a depoy?
Kawhi has won a depoy.
Well, they have 2 depoys on their team if that
I'm
happens.
pretty sure Kawhi has won a depoy. I think he's actually won 2.
Wow.
Yeah, Kawhi has won 2 Defensive Player of the Years. He won it in 15 and 16.
Mm.
So yeah, they have 2 Defensive Player of the Years. You know, can't be mad at that. I think that's a really good,
It's a good trade.
really
Makes
good.
sense.
Not yeah, for the Clippers it'd be a great trade.
Yeah.
Only thing that I would be mad at for both sides is again the Jazz. You guys don't get a pick, so you're kind of just toughing it out for a year. You get off Gobert's contract, but you're not going to be good next year. Hopefully you're bad, and then your pick ends up being good. And then for the Clippers, you kind of trade a lot of depth that you don't really want to do.
Yeah.
But again, just the idea of that huge big three defensively is kind of crazy to think about. Interesting. Then the last team, Mavericks, we talked about them.
Mavericks,
Can't really
it makes
trade
no
for
sense
them.
for them to do it.
They just got Christian Wood.
And
then his only other option would be staying in Utah to me. So
Who's
out
next?
of those 3, Chicago, LA, and Utah, how would you rank those 3?
Utah as the worst.
Unfair. That's fair.
Chicago and actually LA and then Chicago.
Okay, interesting. I like that. I think Chicago is the best for both sides. For Rudy Gobert specifically, though, I think LA would be his best. Like they would probably win the most with the Clippers.
Yeah, but I think the Bulls could just recreate what they did, although they're giving up depth.
The Bulls aren't giving up nearly as much depth because they'd be giving up like their current starting center to get a new starting center. So that's not really giving up depth. Only depth they're giving up is Patrick Williams, and they already need power forwards, and they're giving up their pick in which they would be able to draft a power forward. So they would have to fill up that hole, but that's light.
DeMar there.
Yeah, but DeMar played at the 4 for a good amount of the year, so they'd be able to make it work. It'd just be the biggest thing would be the spacing. You would have to find a way to make that work.
And I'm sure a good NBA coach will be able to find that out.
Yeah, like I said, stagger the minutes or something. But next up, it's only right that we, like you said, move on to Donovan Mitchell. He has the same he has the same teams as Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing for him.
I think same teams for him and the Heat.
Yeah, no. Zach LaVine didn't have the Heat. Okay, so same teams plus the Heat. So for
same reasonings as well.
Yeah, Miami can make a trade where it's Hero, Lowry, and the 27th pick for Donovan Mitchell. In Utah's perspective, they get a young star in Hero, a pick that could end up decent. Maybe you get like Mark Williams or something out of Duke or something. Who knows? And then you get a Kyle Lowry who could just kind of be a vet who keeps things in order. Or you could just keep Lowry until the trade deadline and then flip him for picks or something. But this trade only makes sense if they also trade Gobert. Like this, you have to think of this as a package deal. So let's say that the Bulls or the Jazz do the Rudy Gobert to Chicago trade, right? So they have Vucevic, Patrick Williams, and number 18. And now they're looking at, Donovan Mitchell, and they're like, hey, let's just blow it up. Gotta trade him to Miami. You just trade him to Miami, so then you're sitting at,
get more future assets.
Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, whoever you put in at the 3, Patrick Williams, and Vucevic. And then you got the Heat's pick this year. And then you got, the Bulls pick this year. In your own pick, I'm pretty sure, unless they traded that pick to the Grizzlies. I'm going to check the NBA draft order. But I'm pretty sure they would have 3 firsts this year. You could turn that into something solid. And then you have Patrick Williams who can develop. So I'm trying to see where they would pick. Utah Jazz. Oh, they actually don't. The Grizzlies do have their pick. It's from the Mike Conley trade. But yeah, they would have 2 picks this year at least. The only 2 other options I have for Donovan Mitchell, though, are Atlanta and San Antonio. reasons we mentioned for Zach LaVine, team up with DeJounte Murray, playing for Popovich. For the Jazz, the trade to the Spurs is really interesting because you would get like the 9th pick and some young assets to start a rebuild in Utah.
You would almost restart them, which I'm not
Yeah.
against because they kind of need that refresh.
And at 9, you can definitely get someone really good.
Yeah.
So 9, maybe Keldon Johnson, a couple other young guys, Josh Primo, maybe. That's a nice way to start off your rebuild. I think that's kind of interesting. Atlanta could trade like, I guess, John Collins and maybe another player to add up or to like make the contracts match, and then some picks to get Donovan Mitchell. And then you have Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, Clint Capella. I just don't think the defense in that backcourt would be very good.
It would be similar to how the Jazz are now, in my opinion, because they would almost have to run like that 5 or that 4 out 1-man paint Capella,
Right.
you know?
Right.
I'm not a big fan of it.
I definitely think San Antonio or Miami is the best option, and then Atlanta's a nice little third option.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, we got Bradley Beal.
Stay.
Yeah, I have Washington as one of his top 3. It's Washington, Miami, or Portland.
Yeah.
For Washington,
Portland.
my only reason is get your bag. Like,
yeah,
he's going to be one of the highest paid players in the league, if not the highest paid player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well, stay if you want that. But again, same reasons for Miami. Trade Tyler Hero to Washington.
Kyle Lowry as well, probably.
Yeah, and the pick.
Score for that team.
Exactly.
And then Portland,
it's
CJ
the same
replacement.
idea. CJ replacement. He's, another all-star player to play with Dame. Same exact idea. Out of these 3, if I were him, I would probably go to Miami. If I'm one of the scoring guards, I'm going to Miami.
I'm going to Miami or staying.
Yeah.
Just to get the bag.
Right. Gotta chase the bag. But yeah, good luck to him. I mean, I've seen his comments on why he wants to say. He's like, if I stay, they're building a team around me. And there's not a lot of places I could go where they're building a team around me. They're building around whatever they have there, which is a fair mindset to have.
That's a fair mindset. I like that mindset.
He wants to chase his own greatness and be the guy on a championship level team. So the Wizards better not fumble this, and they need to find a way to do that since he's being this loyal to them. It's their job to do what they got to do.
Front office need to do their job.
Right. All right. We got 2 more guys. 2 restricted free agents.
Okay.
We got Miles Bridges, who's 24 years old. He averaged 20 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists on 50% field goal percentage, 33% from the 3-point line, and 80 from the free throw line.
So this year he kind of proved it. Like, he raised his value.
Yeah.
Okay.
He definitely had like a most improved player case. I have 2 fits for him.
Portland
for you? I think it's another just Dame thing. Like, the Portland reasoning is literally
just give Dame help.
Get Dame anyone who's good.
Yeah.
Like, my 2 teams though, in one of them, I'm not sure how I feel about it just because of off the court things. But my one option is Charlotte. I think he fits there.
Oh yeah, of course.
Him and LaMelo have a nice little duo. They love him out there.
They already have that chemistry. Yeah.
I like what they have out there. My other team, and I think like if I was him from his perspective and I could be anywhere in the league, Detroit is a very good option for him. He's from Flint, Michigan. He went to Michigan State. Clearly, he likes being out there. He loves Detroit culture. He raps in a Detroit style.
He's gonna get shot.
He's gonna but like off the court wise, Detroit, we already saw the little picture of him on Instagram with him drinking the pink lemonade and the little Zaza. So I don't know how much of a distraction that would be from his play to be in his hometown. Plus, being an NBA player and playing in your hometown seems a little obnoxious.
It's nice, but I don't know. You're gonna be almost famed like you're a god.
Right.
Welcome back.
Right. You're from here.
Yeah.
then at that point you gotta stay. You can't leave. Like,
Yeah. Like if you leave, you're gonna be looked at as a villain.
Right, you're LeBron. Like,
I don't know
you
if you would want to take that.
Right. Personally, Charlotte or Detroit, one or the other. I think that's where he's going to go. I don't think he goes anywhere else.
Realistically, he's going those two. But where I would like to see him go, Portland or
stay in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Detroit.
rank them though, what about your two?
Detroit is likelihood wise, I think Detroit is the most likely. I think Detroit is extremely likely. Probably gonna go Detroit, then Charlotte, then Portland. Because I think Portland doesn't have their eyes on Miles Bridges. They probably have their eyes on Bradley Beal,
another guard,
Zach LaVine, those kinds of guys. DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. The last guy though.
Go ahead.
We got Jalen Brunson, 25 years old. Another restricted free agent. He raised his value specifically in the playoffs. 16 points per game, 3.9 rebounds, 5 assists, 50% from the field, 37 from the three-point line, 84 from the free throw line. I think he has 2 really good fits. I mean, there's a lot of places he could be, but I only really love to.
Honestly, just staying.
That's what I was going to say. Staying is definitely one of them. You get to stay, play with Luka, Christian Wood. They can pay you. You're going to get your bag anyway.
Team. Yeah.
And then you don't even have to have super high expectations wherever you go. If you stay in Dallas, everyone's going to expect the same thing out of you. You're just going to get paid more to do what you were already doing.
You're on the team with Luka. Like, he's going to have all the attention.
Right. I think another interesting team could be the Wizards, though. You know, he would fit good with Beal.
Again, that building around Beal thing.
Yeah. And then, you know, they could pull off a sign and trade for Brunson. They could do like Kuzma or KCP or something. And then for the Mavericks, that's good because you get another one of those really good role players who could play off of Luka. So, yeah, I think that's a really interesting idea. But out of the two, I would definitely prefer he stays in Dallas.
I'm preferring stay and then Washington.
So our best case, let's go best case scenario for each player so we can say like what our best case scenario 2022-2023 season looks like. For Zach LaVine, best case scenario would be Chicago, right?
Yeah.
So Chicago keeps Zach LaVine. Philly keeps James Harden. DeAndre Ayton, it just depends on.
Depends what he wants.
Best case scenario as far as making a competitive team, Phoenix.
Stay. Yeah.
So that's 3 people who have stayed. Kyrie, I think he stays too.
Stay.
Yeah, so another guy stays. Rudy Gobert, though, I think he goes to Chicago.
Moves to Chicago.
So we got Rudy Gobert moving to Chicago with Zach LaVine, DeMar, all those guys. They have a nice little squad out there. Donovan Mitchell, Miami. So then Donovan Mitchell's on the Heat. What's it called? Tyler Hero is on the Jazz. They're completely rebuilding in Utah now. And then we got Bradley Beal, who I think should just stay in Philly. Stay in Washington. And now, especially if we have Donovan Mitchell going to Miami, he can't go to Miami. It's not an option. And then Miles Bridges, stay in Charlotte. And then Jalen Brunson, stay in Dallas. So the only big move we have happening.
Everyone's just staying.
Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
That would mean, though, that the Blazers strike out on free agency. They wouldn't get anyone in our best case scenario.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Blazers make the most sense for anyone.
It's just prioritizing win now if those players were to do that.
Yeah, that's definitely like best case scenario for all of these things, though. That's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got for today. I want to keep it concise. We're not going to just ramble about random things, though. Yeah, I think that concludes. I don't even know what episode this is. 11?
11, I think.
Episode 11. We'll be back on Wednesday. We're gonna be back on Wednesday. There's not gonna be a delay or anything. We'll be back on Wednesday. I think the draft is on Thursday, so maybe we do a mock draft. We'll have to discuss that. But yeah, we'll definitely. Podcast might look different next time you watch it. We'll see. But yeah, thank you. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday.